Hi guys, it's LJ from Wildcat Fitness here. I actually thought I'd record a bit of a different video. I know obviously most of the videos so far on my channel have been actually exercise related, either explaining exercises or workout routines. But I've actually had quite a few conversations lately, people asking me kind of exactly how I got into personal training, who I did my course with, how I've kind of made it my full-time job. So I thought it might actually be useful to record, and I'll probably do this as a series of videos because obviously there's quite a lot of ground to cover, but I thought I'd record some videos about specifically how I got into personal training, how I decided to train, how I kind of decided to make that leap to make it a career, and just some tips to being, I wouldn't say good because I think that's kind of subjective, but a successful personal trainer, because that is something that that I seem to I've had a lot of questions about recently, so I figured if people are kind of asking me that on a day-to-day basis, it's probably something that quite a few people wonder about. So I thought I'd record this first video just giving you guys like a bit of background and actually effectively like my story, my journey. I kind of hate to use that word, but I suppose that is the case, like my journey as a personal trainer, like, and how I got to where I am right now. So for those of you that don't know where I am right now, I own and run Wildcat Fitness UK, which is a personal training business. So I set it up just over 3 years ago, and I have been a full-time personal trainer. I do other things as well, but primarily a full-time personal trainer for just over 3 years now. I would like to say we're actually one of the most successful personal training businesses in West London. I'm not kind of boasting, that's a fact. Not very good at blowing my own trumpet, but yeah, that is a fact. I work with 2 other amazing female personal trainers. So in effect, there's a team of 3 of us now. I'm not their boss, I'm not their manager. I don't kind of see myself like that. Basically, the situation that I'm in right now, physically and diary wise, I can't take any more kind of clients on. So I work on a referral basis with my 2 other lovely employees is the wrong word, colleagues, Rosie and Rahel. I'll probably go into a bit more detail about that kind of story further down the line if you want to read more about my colleagues, and there's plenty of information on my website. So it's gone from like literally something that was kind of a bit of a part-time thing to my full-time career, and in actual fact like a full-time business in its own right. So that's where I am at with Wildcat Fitness. So I have been in the fitness industry itself for nearly 8 years now, which is a little bit scary. But it's also kind of, for me, I think a really positive thing in that fitness is obviously kind of very hot and very trendy and, you know, very kind of current, but without wanting to kind of sound like a bit of a dinosaur or a know-it-all. I've been in the industry a long time now, a lot longer than some of maybe the other kind of newer bloggers or PTs or whatever, which is both a good and a bad thing because I think we can all learn from each other. But I do have a lot of experience in the industry, and personally, I think that counts for a lot. Again, I'll go on to cover that, I think, probably in a later video. So I started in the fitness industry as an instructor, teaching group fitness classes. Fitness is not my original kind of background. To give you a very brief potted history, I actually have a degree in journalism. So I graduated in 2001 with a BA in journalism, and I worked in media for a number of years, primarily in television. I then went and worked in PR and events, and my kind of last job before doing this full time was working at a communications agency. So that's my background. It's nothing directly related to fitness at all. So hopefully that just goes to show that you can make a career change, you can make a life change, and hopefully I'm living proof that it can work. Again, I'll probably like go into more detail on how you might want to do that kind of further down the line, but just specifically I just kind of wanted to give you guys my story and my background so you know where I'm coming from. with it. So so I started teaching group fitness classes around my day job. I don't know why I did that, because it was my day job. So either after work, lunch times, before work. So it could mean that kind of, yeah, my days were quite long, or that was sort of quite a lot to fit in, but it worked, and that's what I did for a good 3 years, I would say, before just more and more I decided that I was really, really passionate about fitness, to the point where it was just kind of starting to feel wrong, just kind of working in an office, doing the corporate thing, and I wanted to make it more of a lifestyle. So I think it was either in 2010 or 2011, I can't remember. Anyway, I quit my then day job. I was actually, funnily enough, timely recording this video, depending on when you watch it. I was actually working for the British Olympic Association, working with Team GB on their sponsorship. Anyway, that's what I was doing, but I decided to leave that to go and work in fitness full time. So I left that role to actually go and be fitness manager at a large health club in West London, to gain both fitness and fitness management experience. Whilst I was there, they were a company that was kind of, really good and really passionate about training, in-house training. So I decided to take my level 3 qualifications, and I qualified as a personal trainer whilst I was working there. That was kind of useful for me because I was managing a team of personal trainers. I was managing like the group fitness instructors. I was managing a gym floor. So it was really good to have the same qualifications as the PTs and kind of know where they were coming from. And I kind of dabbled and did a little bit of PT there. But at that point wasn't kind of seeing it as a full-time career or a job option. Even though I was really passionate about exercise, about helping people, I found it really interesting. I kind of knew sort of further down the line I'd like to do something with it, but I kind of wasn't quite sure what. Again, this is something that I'll probably cover kind of later on in another video, but to cut quite a long story short, although this is already a lot longer than I originally wanted this video to be, I can talk. I actually ended up leaving that role purely because the financial side of things just didn't really work for me. I was working a lot of hours, not getting paid very much, which unfortunately, again, I don't think I'm doing anybody a disservice. I think this is just factual. The leisure industry is notoriously lowly paid. That's the wrong. Poorly paid. And I was just really struggling financially. So at that point, I actually decided to go back to the corporate world, just because I was actually really struggling to make ends meet every month. And when you're nearly 30, that's just kind of not really a very good place to be in. So I continued with my my group fitness instruction, but went back to work in a communications agency, just to try and earn a bit of decent money. But it just still kind of never really felt quite right. I kind of just knew this wasn't really what I wanted to continue doing kind of full time, or where my true passion, my true kind of vocation kind of lay. So I kept kind of toying with this idea of, I want to do the personal training thing. I want to work one-on-one with people. I want to kind of, really help people personally with their journey. As I said, I was teaching group fitness classes this whole time, which is something that I'm really, really passionate about. And obviously I still do to this day, and I still love it. The group fitness environment and PT one-to-one are really, really different beasts, obviously. And one of the great things about group fitness is that, there are many great things, but you can help people, you can change their life, you can go on journeys with people, but sometimes you do want to spend a bit more time with someone, or you can see that someone needs a bit more help, and obviously you can't play favourites, you can't work one-on-one with people, and you just kind of got to hope that some of your coaching lands. You just got to hope that they can see that you're trying to help them. And sometimes people kind of fall through the gaps, and you think, if only I could have spent more time one-on-one with that person. And that is kind of more and more is what I was feeling. Like I'd really like to work with smaller groups of people, and indeed like individuals, to really help them be the best version of themselves. So I always kind of felt like I had that passion. And so in sort of at the beginning of 2013, my now husband, my then boyfriend, he moved in with me at that point. And so up until that point, I had my own flat. So this kind of sounds wrong, but like my financial pressures were kind of eased a little bit. I wasn't the only one paying my mortgage or paying my bills. Basically, my monthly outgoings are kind of halved because obviously he moved in with me and was paying me rent and paying half my bills. And that kind of made a big difference, kind of thinking, oh, maybe now I could take a bit of a risk, a bit of a leap of faith here. And he was really, really supportive and encouraging. And he was like, you know, look, if you want to do the personal training thing, give it a go. Like, you won't know if you can succeed doing it until you give it a try. And so more and more I thought, yeah, you know, maybe. I started thinking, you know, could I do it part-time? And indeed, actually, that's what I did to start with. I thought, right, I need kind of security of a monthly pay packet. So let's kind of try to keep my day job, but do as I've been doing with classes and just see the odd client kind of here or there, like after work and at weekends. So that's how I started. And for me personally, I mean, it did work in as much as it was successful, but it also kind of didn't work in that personal trainer, it is personal, it is one-to-one. People want to be able to see you and they want to be able to see you. So if you turn around and say, I can do Tuesday evenings between 6 and 9 or Thursday between 6 and 9 on Saturday morning, that just wasn't enough availability for the kind of demand that was there. So I had to kind of make a bit of a decision. So I decided to hand my notice in and try and give personal training a go full time. So yeah, that was spring of, I guess it must have been 2013. Anyway, just over 3 years ago. And it probably sounds like a cliche, but it's true. I haven't looked back since. Yeah, I worked my final day in an office in the summer of 2013. I had actually worked a very long notice period, which sort of helped in that I was able to kind of use that time whilst I was still getting a regular monthly salary to build up my client base, to work on my website, to kind of have work ready to go for when I did kind of make that transition over to being a full-time PT. So that was a really good kind of buffer to have. So that is basically what I've been doing ever since. So to give you just a bit of detail about exactly how I operate. So, and again, this has changed like over the time that I've been doing it, but now I primarily work out of a private personal training studio, which I rent. It's just a PT gym, so it's not a commercial gym floor. Only personal trainers and their clients can use it. That's my cat, in case you're wondering what that moving grey thing is there. She just wants to really be a part of this. So, just so you can see that I'm not lying. The real Wildcat. So that kind of worked for me. That rental model. Sometimes it's a little bit frustrating having to share space with other people. That sounds kind of really spoiled, but not everybody operates in the same way. But that's fine, because at the end of the day I just pay my rent. If anything goes wrong, I report it to the guy that owns it. I can walk away from it. You know, I don't have that pressure to pay kind of, you know, business rates or, you know, kind of maintenance or whatever. So I just pay my rent, take my clients there, walk away at the end of it, don't have to worry about anything. So that kind of, trying to drink my water, that works for me. That's great. In the beginning I was kind of travelling here, there and everywhere, clients' houses, parks, hotel gyms, but I was wasting so much time on travel. I actually think it's really nice now that I can just say to clients, this is my base, this is where I train, you know, can you make it to my studio? And it's also kind of better diary wise, especially at peak times. Say, for example, early in the morning, I can do a 7 a.m, an 8 a.m, and 9 a.m, and just be in one place. My clients can come to me. That kind of makes it a lot more manageable. I have a couple of clients. I go to their home and train them. They are clients that have their own gym, so that kind of works perfectly. But again, I try to minimise that now. Otherwise, there's just time wasted in travelling. So yeah, so I'm primarily studio based. the way that I kind of work right now, I probably spend, in terms of like my working week, my hours, I probably spend about 65–70% of it face-to-face, one-to-one. You're going to get a big cat close-up in a minute, maybe not. Face-to-face, one-to-one with clients. Obviously within that as well, it's group fitness classes, it's travelling either to, you know, clients' houses or to gyms that I teach at. And the rest of the time is admin time, creating client session plans, answering emails, scheduling, and then of course all the other stuff I do as well, social media, my blogging, working on my website, brand work, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of treating that separate to these personal training videos, if you like. What I'll also do, I've actually just recently done an article, or I should say they have done an article about me and the health bloggers community, like a day in the life of kind of what my typical, I say that because no 2 days are the same, like genuinely no 2 days are the same. I'll put a link to that kind of below, so you can have a look at that and kind of see in a bit more detail kind of how my days are structured. But this was just to kind of give you a bit of background to what I did before, how I got where I am, what I kind of do now. The screen is moving because my cat's rubbing her face all over it, just so you know. You're not kind of having a strange funny turn. It is being moved by a cat rubbing herself against it. So as I say, I'd like to kind of record more videos about exactly how I made the leap, kind of, you know, sort of how I structured my website, maybe how I've used social media, you know, what I think are really good qualities to have for a PT, things that kind of haven't worked, lessons that I've learned. If you think that would be useful, if you've got any other questions, you know, about exactly how I trained, what I specialise in, what it's like doing this day to day, how I manage my finances, anything like that, please ask me. You know, I'm very lucky. I have made this a very successful business. I have worked really hard, but you know, I think I've done well as a result. So I'm running a successful and profitable personal training business, but I've learned loads of lessons along the way, and there probably are things that I would have done differently. There probably are things that I would change if I had the chance to do this again, but similarly I am where I am now, and I'm very pleased and very proud of that. So I'd love to kind of share that knowledge with you. So if there's anything specific that you'd like me to cover, please ask me questions, drop me a line, let me know. And yeah, I'll record another video in a few days' time, kind of going into a bit more detail into the life of a personal trainer, and then you can decide whether you want to have the life of a personal trainer. Anyway, thank you for listening. Do drop me a line with any feedback, any questions, and yeah, speak to you soon.